I think that's the conversation that we want to have, is how do we make sure that there are adequate physical resources in our communities, in all of our communities, in every corner of our country. Every project, we operate on the 4 pillars: criminal justice reform, education, policing, economic mobility. Everywhere we go, we set up a listen and learn before we start to move around. We want to hear the people on the ground. We want to hear their thoughts, their concerns. We like to listen to the experts in those areas who have come up with real evidence-based solutions, and we like to try to use our platform to help amplify those messages.
At the end of the day, every community has different challenges. That may be based on geography, that may be based on demographics, that may be based on lack of resources, lack of infrastructure, lack of something. When we can understand that, and then when we can immediately jump to the heart of those issues, understand those issues, address those issues, then we can find answers and then equip those communities with what they need in order to overcome whatever those challenges might be.
One of the things I just like to talk about is specifically the schools in New Orleans East. It isn't guaranteed that if you live across the street from that school, that you can attend that school. So that does pose some challenges. But what I can say, since those schools are here in the city, what could we do to make Einstein, Abramson schools that 8th grade students will select to attend?
Is the mindset, you mentioned that the school then really develops the community around it. If the community, if parents know that this is the school that offers everything that their children need to thrive, then that builds the community in and around it.
I do believe that we have to put those people who are the decision makers to be able to work collaboratively on helping those schools become better.
I think in order to address these issues, we have to take it down to the individual level. We have to humanize it. We have to understand what the dollars and cents and numbers and data mean. They mean real people. They mean real families. They mean real communities, and they're affecting real lives.
Thinking about the health and well-being of young people, thinking about juvenile justice, thinking about transportation, which, some of the biggest issues that I'm hearing. New Orleans East is isolated from the rest of the city, and most of the resources are allocated to the central part of the city, which young people don't have access to. They don't have transportation.
Louisiana follows the federal minimum wage rate, which currently is at $7.25. We carry the second highest percentage of minimum wage workers in the country. And we believe that businesses in Louisiana and New Orleans East should take leadership in triggering a living wage prior to any federal programs.
JP Morgan Chase, they started a fellowship initiative. We just made a $5 million investment in the city of New Orleans. We partnered with New Orleans Business Alliance. We talked about infrastructure, and we want to make sure that our people have access to capital, and we're glad to be able to make that investment in a Black-owned bank here in New Orleans.
What that investment does is, one, allow us to expand the loans that we make to people, take a little bit more risk, and support communities, whether that be schools that we support, churches, then businesses and growth.
Financial knowledge, financial understanding, financial capacity, literacy is critical for any community.
And what we are doing here is folks need to learn how to save, how to advance, how to pass down generational wealth, how to end poverty from a family perspective and the community perspective.
We can clean New Orleans East up, and we can change that narrative. We can hire 20 to 30, 45, 50 young people, give them a job today.
Systems of just harm and trauma that bring people in, they churn them around and they spit them back out, and they hope for the best, and they say, go forth and be successful, don't do this again. If you've got someone suffering from years of drug addiction that got no support, no treatment, no care in jail, what do you think is going to happen when they come out? Or you get somebody that is suffering from either undiagnosed or underdiagnosed and certainly untreated and undertreated mental health issues. You throw them in a cage, that's not going to produce a good outcome.
New Orleans is the most culturally rich city in the United States, one of the most culturally rich cities in the world. Arts and culture is the glue to, I think, everything that we do. And so, but if you look at it from an economic standpoint, New Orleans tourism generates $10.5 billion a year, the average artist or cultural worker makes under $20,000 a year. That's a huge conversation. When we think about our musicians, our Mardi Gras Indians, everybody who makes New Orleans, in terms from a cultural perspective, that's an inequitable divide.
You know, we call it the hood. Oh, I'm from this hood, I'm from this hood. The actual word is neighborhood. So the idea of the matter is to bring the neighbor back to the hood, bring that community life back by providing resources and dignity, justice, and hope. And I think that we can make it happen if we identify the problem, identify the solutions, and all work together to make it happen.